I don't even know if this thing's working. Now a lot of people are like, where have you been for a week? And I'm like, because there's nothing to report. You see, unlike a lot of other YouTube channels, I'm not going to run around willy-nilly and bombard you with bullshit just so I can say, oh, look, I made a video that day so I can up my algorithm worth. And therefore, oh, looky, I'm significant. And the thing that gets me is I'm loving how all these hate channels get thousands and thousands and thousands of views. Now, speaking of other channels out there, I want to wait till I get a few people in here because this has got me laughing my ass off, okay? Now, all right, there's about 10 of you, so I'll just get to the point. I may have to repeat myself again, because some of you don't know what's going on. Now, as y'all know, one of our other, so-called, YouTube channels out there, which I can't figure out for the life of me how they get so many subscribers when basically their whole channel sounds like a motorcycle, or should I say a negacycle? Anyone heard that one routine, by Jeff Dunham? Except, they basically, once the camera comes on, they, it's like the whole video is this. Get ready. Nag, 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 bitch, 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 bitch. And that's all they do. And I've seen this out of review channels. There's, one review channel in particular. All he does is sits there and he bitches through the whole episode. And then it's, oh, wait, yeah. I was like, grow up, dude. Matter of fact, grow some hair on your balls. But the one that had me going is a certain other channel, Neurotic, is going on and on about how, once again, Chibnall and Whittaker are leaving. Now, it's like, is he just going to keep repeating it till it's true? That way he declare himself God, Emperor, Nostradamus of the internet. And, and say, oh, look, I knew it was going to happen. Kind of like, Doomcock, when he came out and said they were going to do the previous incarnations of the Doctor for Hartnell. And it turns out, and he goes, and they're all going to turn out to be female as part of a woke scheme. Yet you, me, and everybody else watched the episode, The Timeless Children, and they weren't all female, were they? He was just trying to get a rise out of people to get attention because he knew by saying that people were going to complain and therefore drag attention to his video. And the thing is, I don't do that shit. People seem to judge their worth these days by how many subscribers they have, how many followers they have, and shit like that. And it just makes me die laughing. I once had a guy on Twitter, and I wish to God I had captured his tweet before he took it down, was trying to tell me he was somehow superior to me because his follower to followed ratio was far higher than mine on Twitter. And I'm like, dude, if that's how you measure self-worth, then you've got some serious psychological issues that you need to deal with. Okay? Now, all right, Nerdrotic is trying to convince people that because he had a video blocked by the BBC, that there's this big conspiracy to shut down the message that, Whittaker and Chibnall are leaving. And it's like, chances are Whittaker is, because guess what? Despite all you and your little, misogynist buddies' rantings, she's going to make the full 3 years, dude. And there's not a thing you can do about it. Plus, when I go back and I scan over some channels' videos, I seem to remember that Series 10 of Doctor Who barely scored about 5.5 million viewers on average. Yet I didn't see all this Moffat's killing Doctor Who. I didn't see Capaldi's ruining it for everybody. I didn't see anything about lackluster storylines or any lack of positive moments or any of that other horse shit that they've been posing on the Jodie Whittaker now for going on the last 3 years. And it just upsets the crap out of me because I know people who are sitting there going, I'll give her a fair and balanced hearing. Yet from the minute she was announced, they were throwing baby fits, saying, pumping people's head with negative horse shit from the minute she was cast. And I'm loving how she's just not an effective actress. Or when it started getting on, the fact that people were catching on to their bullshit, that this is nothing more than misogynist rhetoric and, their penis felt threatened, that suddenly they changed it to, well, the writing's just not good enough for Jodie's acting. And I love how these guys turn on a dime. You know, it's like shit. It's like watching the Tron light cycles. You know, the way they turn. It's like, it's like, come on. Now, yeah, she's getting better though. And a lot of people didn't embrace Capaldi either at first. I had a friend of mine who, if he'd had his way, Capaldi would have been fired back in Series 8 because he just couldn't get into him. But we all fell in love with Peter Capaldi, didn't we? And sadly, what I'm afraid is actually going to happen is eventually, yeah, they are going to can Doctor Who. And then they'll dump the fault of it on the Chibnall and Whittaker, just the same way they did John Nathan Turner and Sylvester McCoy back in 89. And meanwhile, you don't hear about all the shit that goes on behind the scenes. You don't hear about the politics. Like one of the things that, Jodie's probably leaving because 3 years. And that's been the pretty much close to average for Doctor Who, with the exception of Eccleston, is 3 years and out. You know, it's like 3 years and go. You know, it's kind of like an unwritten rule now. So it's like now he's still shouting that, you know, Chibnall and Whittaker are out, and the BBC has blocked his video as part of a grand conspiracy. I got you some sad news, Turdy or Nerdy. It happens to all of us. I have a video from back in Series 11 with the photos of the guest stars, which I didn't even have names for. We only knew what episode they were going to be in. There was no plot details, no nothing, just pictures. And that video is still blocked now because they blocked it almost immediately, even though I did not get the photos off their server. It was too late. The photos were all over Twitter, and that's where I got them from. Therefore, according to fair use, I should have the right at that point to use those photos. But as I just left a comment on his one video, congratulations, welcome to the club, welcome to reality. There is no fair use on YouTube. It's that simple anymore. There really isn't. Because there's no third-party arbitration. YouTube has literally gotten so big, and they've got so many bots running, they have no third-party arbitration anymore for any type of copyright dispute. All they do is they send let's say you use something, and it falls within the bounds of fair use. All you can do now is you can, dispute it, and then it goes back to guess where? The company that made the complaint in the first place. And it's like, what are you going to sit there and tell them to convince them that, it's fair use, even though you define it 150 times? Because then what they do is they just, they reject your dispute, and congratulations, you can leave the video up, but now they're going to be the ones who make the money off of it, which doesn't hurt my ass most of the time. Because like I said, YouTube is not my primary money-making source. So I'm going to die laughing. You ain't going to believe how many people are going to be jumping off buildings if YouTube ever goes under. I'm not kidding. It just amazes the shit out of me how many people make just their whole career off YouTube. And it's like, dude, I work at Ford and I worry every day about the fact I'm going to still have a job in 10 years or not. And here you are relying on an internet company for your sole job, or people who live on Twitch and shit like that. And if I ever figure out Twitch, I might stream over there. But I've not really got caught up with that whole technology as yet. But so just because the BBC has blocked your video does not mean that they're trying to do a conspiracy of silence on you. And besides, do what I did. Take the video and upload it over on Facebook, and then put a little text. When you're uploading another video, put a little text scrolling across the bottom saying, go to Facebook to see the previous video in its entirety. Because those photos that I was talking about from a few years ago went on my Facebook page, and they were there for up to 6 months after the episode aired, before they finally realized they were there and did anything about it. And it's like, by then it was too late anyway. I was laughing my ass off. And the video where I show the photos and all that is still up. So it's like, it's kind of funny as hell. But as I've explained, there's no fair use on YouTube anymore. Now, me being a news channel, and primarily a news channel, I should have the right to use clips and whatnot. Now, if I even use 15 seconds of music on an intro, I get copyright hit by the BBC. It just means I'm a target by BBC bots. Or maybe it's because somebody is watching me. I don't know. But it seems like lately it's just gotten a lot worse. So that's why you're going to be getting cheesy intros from now on with, little bits of music because, I don't want them hitting the video and go, oh, by the way, we're going to claim what little money you do make because you used the 15 seconds of our music. And they will do it because it's the BBC and they need money. Gotta love it. Big, all-powerful organization, yet it has a budget probably less than Trump takes a shit every year. It's like, oh, God. Don't even get me started on that orange-haired bastard. That's a whole other field. But, yeah, it just amazed the crap out of me because I'm sitting there going, wait a minute. So you've said the same thing you've been saying for over 2 years. Matter of fact, like I said, I got fooled by the Chaos and Cardiff thing as well. But he was one of the ones that really began generating it, if memory serves. And unfortunately, a few of my sources fell for it. And they are telling me the same thing. So I can understand, how it happens. But the thing is this. It's kind of been obvious that you and a few others have been on this hate agenda for ever since 2017 or so, when she was announced. Like I said, I had a person who was on my cast who the minute she was announced, this is going to happen, that's going to happen, it's going to suck. And it's like, then of course, surprise, surprise, when these episodes came around, basically said the same thing, but cleverly disguised it in the form of praise and criticism. Well, I liked this episode a lot, but then this, and this, everything right down to the stage lighting was poor. And I've been noticing that other trend too, when people are trying to sweep it under the rug. This could have been so much better if they did this, and this, and this. It has nothing to do with Jodie. That was another famous line that popped up once again when people started getting wise to the fact that it has nothing to do with the writers. It has nothing to do with the showrunner. It has something to do with the showrunner's choice for the doctor that they didn't like because the doctor suddenly didn't have male genitalia. And the thing is, it's not all misogynist. You have the hardcore traditionalists who up to now are saying Time Lords are either male or Time Lords are either female. And it's like, if you could explain that, then also tell me why Romana regenerated out of nowhere. They've only come up with 10 different explanations for that on Big Finish now. But so there's a lot of rumors going around. Like my other favorite one is that there's going to be a delay in filming and the show could be delayed indefinitely. We've had no official announcement from the BBC that there's going to be any delay in Doctor Who filming. What you heard was the opinion of one Wales TV executive who said that the Doctor Who could not be made to its current quality standard using social distancing requirements. And that's exactly what he said. He said nothing about the show being canceled for filming being canceled. He just stated an opinion. Well, that's kind of funny because Unbor Muncher, a.k.a. Keeping Faith, is going back before the cameras in July. I think EastEnders is already filming. And they just announced another series is going to be filming before the end of this year. In September, if memory serves as well. So, that's why I don't see why it would be impossible 2 months from now to start filming on Doctor Who. Unless there's a dramatic upsurge in COVID cases, and then I would be concerned at that point. See, I just can't get over this. There's been certain individuals out there trying to calmly tell you, oh, well, I wish there was better news. And I'm like, I don't want to argue with this person because I really respect this person and their opinions up to this point. It sounds like panic monging to get attention. That's what it sounds a lot. Well, yeah, that's EastEnders, though, 15-minute episodes. You're right. Now, there's a lot of people speculating they're going to change the length of the episodes of Doctor Who in order to do it, or there's going to be a split series. We have nothing on paper like that yet. Like I said, my opinion is this. Wait about a month or two. When we get an official announcement, then panic. Why are we generating panic now? I don't get it. You see, that's what I don't get. Plus, the fact they're only filming 10 episodes, I don't know why it's taking them so long to film them, because I remember back when Doctor Who was hammering out 13 episodes in a Christmas special every year. with, plenty of time to spare. But now it's like, and also another thing, people's been like, well, they can't do it because of international restrictions. Dude, they were filming entire series of Doctor Who in frickin' Wales for years before they started going overseas and doing anything. Matter of fact, a lot of the classic series was all filmed in country, with very few exotic locations used. But sure, people got tired of the quarries. But hey, what can you do? Yeah. Also, people keep asking me about Revolution of the Daleks, and I'm like, it was filmed with Series 12, so you're not going to see a delay on that whenever it airs. It's been done and in the can for 7 or 8 months now. Matter of fact, you saw the last bit of filming on that, with the Daleks Suddenly Nobody Likes, even though it looks like a cleaned up version of the Recon Dalek. And they're not getting rid of the bronze Daleks, as we saw on the Clifton Suspension Bridge filming back in October last year. I think it was the night of October 22nd going into the morning of October 23rd when that took place in Bristol. So it was, once again, Chibnall, like I said, I don't know if he's leaving. I heard he had like a 5-year contract. Jodie had a 3-year, which was unprecedented, given that every doctor, including Eccleston, from Eccleston up, had a 1 year with an option to sign on. And I'm glad somebody just brought up hybrids, because I was talking to the guys the other night in a Zoom call. And I said, what's interesting about Timeless Children that nobody realized? And it's like, they're like, what, blah, blah, what are you talking about? And I'm like, well, you have the Master, right? And the Master has taken the Siberian, which means now he's kind of like half Time Lord, half, Cyberman. Or he's infested with the cyber intelligence wave. So in a way, does that not mean that a hybrid stood in the ruins of Gallifrey? Which, in a way, you could say Chibnall's Timeless Children fulfilled the prophecy of the hybrid. Ooh, I bet you just got one of them headaches that went all the way to the back of your spine. Yeah. At least that's what I've been thinking of, is that way you call that, he kind of fulfilled the prophecy of the hybrid. But that's my opinion on that. Oh, well. But like I said, there's just not been a lot, because I looked, what happened was I was on break today, and I looked down again, and I'm like, well, shit, it's been 6 days since you put up a video. And it's like, according to this thing, and it's like, there's not really been a whole lot to talk about. Not really, other than I think Target novelizations have been pushed back. They've been delayed from July to March 2021. Something like that. So keep an eye on that. I'll have to post the article up for you. Who do you think? Now, here's the thing. Multi-doctor stories involve paychecks. Now, recently, you had Jodie and Matt Smith and, of course, David Tennant all together in these calls. No, I'm not talking about the 5-year plan. I think Chibnall signed to a 5-year contract. That's what I'm talking. I'm not talking about a 5-year plan. I think Chibnall got a 5-year contract as showrunner. Now, I don't know where I said the 5-year plan thing's been running around since I think they put out the articles about China. And I'm like, just because you signed a deal with China doesn't guarantee you get shit for so many years. As optimistic as I'd like to be about that. Also, HBO Max deal, they could be showing old episodes on HBO Max up to a certain point if they want. It doesn't guarantee anything, sadly. Also, like I said, I pretty much, on the idea that if they keep jumping around, they keep doing split series, they keep skipping years, Doctor Who's done. It's going to the numbers are going to finally dwindle to the point they're going to say, look, we're done with it. It's too much money for too little gain, and they're going to smack a stamp on it and call it over. And the sad part of it is, like I said, meanwhile, it's the BBC playing games. Matter of fact, you'll notice the numbers. If you go back and look, I think even Ace Creeper made a chart. And it's the downtrend in the video started around series 6 when the first split series happened. And then notice you get the Capaldi era, you quietly lost an episode, and no one ever mentioned it in the media that I can remember. Just suddenly you're getting 12 episodes of Doctor. And then finally, well, now you're down to 10 and a special. We don't know when it's going to air. It could be Christmas, could be New Year's. Or you think they're planning a surprise for Doctor Who fans about the 60th anniversary story? I don't even want to think that far ahead, because we've had so many people who should have been back on the show by now, who are now in their 90s. And like I said, it's just kind of like the BBC sitting back hoping they all die before we get to the next series, so we don't have to address them like we did in our 8th anniversary special we put out in 2013. That abomination everybody called the 50th and jumped up and down, went hoorah, when I could have eaten a couple cans of alphabet soup and shit a better script than was put out for Day of the Doctor. I'm sorry. There was too many MacGuffins. There was too many jump cuts. There was too many references. And like I said, the greatest parts about it were John Hurt, and of course the 3 minutes at the end with Tom Baker. But that's my opinion. Keep your own. I don't care. I never liked it, never will. Like as my friend Vil called it, and that's what I'll call it to this day, the era of the Zygons, because they completely screwed the Zygons up. It's like, if the Zygons can shape change at will, why are they still got Elizabeth I there? They don't need her for anything. If the Zygons can shape change in anything they want, from a rabbit all the way up to a frickin' horse, see, it just made no damn sense whatsoever. Big Finish will be around as long as Big Finish is, the heart and soul of those guys are out there behind it. What's going to be really tragic, though, is sooner or later, I don't like to talk about the subject, but sooner or later, people get older and they pass away. As you can see, they've already got the imitators in there, but like I said, I don't like to make fun of that, because I love Tim Treloar as the Third Doctor, as well as Cole Shaw's doing brilliantly as the Brigadier. They even had Caroline John's daughter in doing Liz Shaw for an episode with them. Now we have Sarah Jane's, not Sarah Jane's, Liz Sladen's daughter is going to be coming in to do Sarah Jane Smith. So it's kind of like passing the baton on to another generation. Well, the thing is this. People are like, yeah, there you go. They need to fix the Ruth Doctor in Series 13. The best thing you can do is it turned out to all be a lie. The Master got the wrong person. He just assumed it was the Doctor, and yada, yada, yada. And that's your easy way out of it. Because, if that's all true, what happened to Tech Tayun? That means that would explain, why poor Omega's still trapped in the antimatter universe. Matt Smith, he'll take anything at this point. Matter of fact, I halfway expect to hear he's serving chips in the BBC, craft services tent. But and like I said, if I was Matt Smith, I would easily have gotten another agent, especially after that stupid ass movie that they didn't even have one good time. That Gosling movie that he did, I think that pretty much killed any chance he had of getting anything in Hollywood. I really don't know if that was a favor or what, but as far as I'm concerned, that killed his chances in Hollywood. Now, there are rumors going around he's going to play a villain in an upcoming Marvel movie, but like I said, I'll believe it when I see it, because Karen Gillan's the one making the big, fat, mad Marvel money right now. Okay, what do we got going on here in the chat? The Ruth Doctor is Adric. Now, wouldn't that be some shit? I was kind of hoping they'd do an episode like that. Wouldn't that be fucked up? You have an evil mad villain who's destroying the universe, bending reality, and it turns out it's Adric using block transfer computation. That the Master saved him seconds before he was due to impact into Earth, and that would be some really screwed up shit. Oh, so once again, I just wanted to come on here and say, nothing is written in stone at this point. There's been no word that they're firing Chris Chibnall. There's been no word they're getting rid of Jodie Whittaker. Just because your video got blocked because you use clips in it doesn't mean it's a mad BBC conspiracy. It just means something that a lot of us YouTubers have known for years. When it comes to using clips, the BBC are dicks. And they really are. I'm technically a news channel. And as I said before, I've used clips of interviews and I discussed them, which is covered under fair use, and any other news channel would do. Yet all of a sudden, hell, sometimes even years later, I'll have a video blocked. Matter of fact, I had one get hit the other day. That was when Berriman was trying to hit. He was in the 50th anniversary special. It was a clip of him on, I think it was BBC This Morning or something like that. And they hit it the other day. And I'm like, for one, all my videos past a certain age, I set them to private or I took them down because as far as I'm concerned, it's old data. There's no reason keeping it around. All right. So I'd love to see Chris Eccleston back, but I don't think you're ever going to see it happen, not in our lifetimes or his. Unless they figure a way to do his hologram, no, it's not going to happen because they really effed over Eccleston bad. They blacklisted him for years after he left, and that's just the tip of the iceberg because he refused to do another year of Doctor Who. He talks a lot about that now, especially he's out on the con circuit, and it's been a few years. I'm just glad his career continued to pick up, after things, went crazy there for a while. And he persevered, despite all of it. And Tennant, oh God, I think Tennant's going to be working 5 minutes after his funeral. This guy is literally so busy that, I don't think he's ever going to wrap anything up altogether. Peter Capaldi, you don't quote me on this, but I heard that's one of the reasons why he doesn't do Big Finish. Like I said, one story I've heard from one source, and like I said, I consider them to be genuine. I don't think they made it up, but things change. A word I heard is he hasn't done Big Finish because he's still heartbroken over what happened with Doctor Who. And you folks who've been tuned into me all these years, I'm not tooting my own horn. Like I said, I've been hearing from other sources that, it's starting to appear more and more true that Peter Capaldi was pushed out. They kind of blamed him for the lull in ratings in Series 10, even though, it wasn't his damn fault. The BBC took a freaking year off. That's what pisses me off more than anything is the fact that, like I said, they're going to do the same thing to Jodie about last year's ratings. Especially all the people who've been trying to crucify her for the last couple of years. Now, for you guys who've been out there in the media using stupid words like woke, that's funny. Woke used to mean you woke up and got out of bed in the morning. Now it's some top secret hidden movement to brain press you into some stupid thoughts or beliefs that this person can't handle. And it just amazes the living shit out of me, all these stupid little terms they come up with now. Like cancel culture. He's been canceled. No, TV shows got canceled. Wedding plans get canceled. Vacation plans get canceled. You can't cancel people. Oy vey. No. As far as I know, everybody whose books where some of the crew wasn't nice. No. It had nothing to do with that. I think it had to do with BBC politics. I don't think it had anybody to do on what you call it. I think it was the upper ranks. I don't think it was anybody who was on set or anything like that. I don't think it involved, because Peter always seemed to love being on set, got along with everybody just fine. I think it was the upper ranks. Pulled a political move and said, well, we want to do this, yada, yada, yada. We're bringing in somebody new. We think they should have a blank slate, so you're going to have to do this. All right. He expressed frustration with support services. Okay, I haven't heard this one, to be honest. You see, the thing is this. Everybody seems to think that Kathleen Kennedy and all that Star Wars is plugging an agenda. While we're talking about Star Wars really quick, I'm going to say this once again because it doesn't seem to hold across, and I want you all to go spread this message throughout the internet. I want to see this go viral as far as Star Wars goes. Are we ready? Can I get a hell yeah? Do you want to hear what I think about Star Wars? You want to know who ruined Star Wars? Come on, give me a big hell yeah, and I'll tell you. Because I know exactly who runs Star Wars. And it wasn't Kathleen Kennedy either, who, by the way, Midnight's Edge has been claiming she's fired. She's going to be run out for like the last 2 or 3 years. Yet I called them on it in a live stream, and they said they've never said such a thing. The person you have to blame for the fall and decline and what went wrong with Star Wars is very simple. It lies at the feet of the man himself, George Lucas. And the reason why I say this, and I don't say this proudly, is because he proved that dreams can be bought. It was his dream, it was his world, it was his vision, and he sold it for a number and a bunch of zeros. And the saddest part of the message is he could have done the sequels back in the 90s. Now, I know there's some of you out there who do actually like the prequel movies. I don't. For the most part, let's see, the Fandom Menace, as I call it, spelled Fandom, was a whole lot of frickin' meetings, a whole lot of conference room meetings, one big Congress meeting, and then, oh, look, we might get around to some action with a dorky character nobody liked. And whatever you do, please quit harassing Ahmed Best. Because this guy was literally to the point a few years back, he was suicidal. And all he did was he did a job he was paid to do. He did not write the character of Jar Jar Binks. This is what he was told to do, and he did it. And then, of course, Attack of the Clones. You got this big, mysterious build-up clone army, blah, blah, blah. And if you didn't see what was going to happen at that point, especially when, come on, if you've known your lore, you knew the Clone Wars were coming, and you knew the route, like I said, the best parts of that movie was, of those 3 whole movies, was Darth Maul, Jango Fett, and the last saber battle with the last half hour of Revenge of the Sith. And that's about it. He could have done the sequels back in the 90s when the actors were the appropriate age. They could have still been doing something active in the movie. And boom. He could have something different than what they went with now. He knew the second he sold the rights to that, they were going to put it on screen and they were going to probably fuck it up. And to be honest with you, for a lot of the part, they did. I can understand Luke being a bit despondent, but there is one part of this whole sequel trilogy I cannot and will not ever accept. And that was that stupid-ass flashback scene where they're saying Luke, who's been living the Force for how many years, was going to strike down his student in the middle of his goddamn sleep because he sensed he was going dark. That scene right there was a freaking upset. It was a disgrace, and it was an insult to the very character of Luke Skywalker. It really was. That he would be so chicken shit that if he had a problem with one of his Padawans, that he'd cut him down in the middle of the night in his sleep. That's the one scene I cannot, will not, or ever will stomach. because that was just a living, breathing insult to the character. So you got me on that one. I could do a whole video on Star Wars and all that. No one would watch it because anything I make that's not Doctor Who related, no one even looks at it anymore. But so, I mean, I could have done a whole series of movies on that. But like I said, if you want to blame anybody, don't blame Kathleen Kennedy. Don't blame J.J. Abrams. Don't blame, Ryan Johnson. His last name's Johnson. Blame George Lucas, who sold out his dream for some money to the mouse. You get what you pay for. Not to mention Solo. All right, am I going crazy? How many here have seen Solo? Anybody remember that movie where they tried to make a life story about Han Solo? Give me a hell yeah if you remember that thing. Okay, I'm still waiting. Give me at least 3 or 4 hell yeahs, and I'll keep going. Don't worry, Callie, you haven't missed anything. Neither of you, Donna. Because it seemed to me like the one whole section of that movie was pulled right off the train job from Firefly. I thought I was rewatching an episode of freaking Firefly. Am I nuts? Let's just say, I didn't pay to see it. Okay, that's all I'm going to say, all right? We won't go into details about how that happened. I'm not kidding. Firefly beat the pants off of Solo, and they stole the whole plot of the second movie out of it. Or that movie out of it, I mean. Right out of the second episode, if I remember right, the train job. Okay, here's the thing. Now, there's been a lot. I know some of you, I'm going to break your hearts right now. Because this is my opinion on Joss Whedon and Firefly. Hey, don't crack on the Firefly. I was a big fan of Firefly, Alistair. Still am. All right, here is the problem. After Avengers, okay, which Joss Whedon directed, and he knocked it out of the fucking park. All right, we're talking first ever in how long billion-dollar movie production that unseated like Titanic and all that from top grossing movie of all time and whatnot, okay? I'm just kidding with you, man. Don't worry. But here's Joss Whedon, right? He is literally up here now. He's on top of the freaking mountain. He could have walked out of that movie, having finished it, after they realized how much of a success it was, walked into any movie production studio in Hollywood, said, I want to do a sequel to Serenity, or I want to do an update to Firefly. And they'd have been throwing money at him to do it. Okay? Just based off his work that he did on Avengers. It's been how many years since Avengers, kids? And also, it seems like he only cares about it when he was doing cons. He doesn't really mention it anymore, does he? And that's why I have to break it to a lot of people. Folks, Firefly's dead. It's not coming back. All the actors and actresses have moved on to other things. Marina Baccarin's doing a billion things. Summer Glau's doing some things here and there. I'm not sure what... I still follow Jewel State over on Twitter because she's kind of funny. But, after I noticed that, when I sat back and I go, wait a minute, this guy was on top of Hollywood. He could have done any 10 movies he wanted to at that point. Okay, someone just asked me, how would I run Doctor? You see, that's a hard thing to imagine because I'm just really, Joss has made some enemies. Let's say that, okay? Well, okay, how is Darth Maul alive? That was covered in... I can't remember if it was Rebels or Clone Wars. It was in one of the animated series. Darth Maul What happened was when the saber cut through him, it cauterized all his wounds. And of course, he's not exactly Homo sapien sapien. He's not, human in any think of the term. And what happened was he had a cybernetic body bottom half. I want to say I think it was Rebels. They went into it, how Darth Maul survived. And he was running around like a spider on like 4 legs for a while. Then he eventually got more human-like undercarriage. And eventually, guess who he died at the hands of? Obi-Wan Kenobi in Rebels. Last time, though, Obi put him down for good. Okay, was it Clone Wars? Thank you. I couldn't remember. It's been a long time since I've watched those. Like I said, I quit watching. I quit watching Rebels when they started saying what's her nuts got time traveled and saved from Darth Vader and yada yada. I just said no, I can't do this anymore. Like I said, you're not going to hear any more out of Firefly or Serenity because it's been way too long. Everybody's going off to do their own different things, other than a few of them, which you would probably never heard from again. Yeah, Ron Glass has sadly left this world. And here's the thing. A lot of people think, like you said, do you think Jodie Whittaker will be the last incarnation of the Doctor? I don't know. I'm of a mixed opinion on that. I think it has a lot to do with ratings, how well the show's still making money. A lot of people have been jumping up and down going, the merchandising's gone down since the Whittaker era. She's the reason why there's no merch selling. I was like, see that right up here? See this TARDIS hanging from my fan? I use it as a lamp pole now. That's the TARDIS Christmas ornament. And this is a cup from the Capaldi era. These were the only 2 things I found in the entire store of Hobby Lobby that were Doctor Who related. The whole aisle where this stuff would normally be at got pushed out with DC and Marvel material. And that's exactly what happened. DC and Marvel happened. It pushed out all the Doctor Who merchandise. So you can't sit there and go, it's the Whittaker era's fault and yada, yada, yada. It's not their fault. They came out during a time when a very successful pair of movie franchises hit. Now, is the last Doctor ever? No. I agree with you, Cybers. I really do. I think what will happen is this. Eventually, the show is going to wind down. I think Jodie, in my opinion and in my gut, I have a gut feeling that, yeah, this is her last year. She's going to do 3 years and out like most doctors do. And if ratings aren't looking favorable, they may try bringing in another doctor and another production team and say, look, we're going to try to do something different. But the thing is, who's going to take the job? That's why I love all these people who crack on Chibnall, calling him chin balls, calling him this, calling him that, all these clever little nicknames. He was the only guy who would take the job. From what I heard, they offered the job first to Toby Whitehouse. You know what he did? He ran out the door like his hair was on fire and his ass was catching. He said, hell no. A whole lot of other people, from what I've been told, said, hell no. Because of look at how the fans treat the showrunner. Look at Moffat. Everybody thought Moffat was hot shit in a cup. And all of a sudden, he was to the point he had to leave. He had to leave Twitter because of threats to his family and all that shit. Chibnall basically had to leave social media, as did, and now, of course, now they've slowly come back. That's the word, yeah, that Moffat had to get Chibnall drunk to say yes. Yeah, did they even offer it to Gaddis? Because if they did, I'm shocked. But yeah, everybody said hell no, because look at how the showrunners are treated now. Instead of treating these guys with respect and giving them a break and saying, look, it's not an easy job. You can't please all the people all the time. Yeah, I think Brad Walsh is out. I think so's Tossin Cole. The only one I'm iffy on is Mandip Gill. So that's the only one I know of that hasn't signed on to anything else yet. But yeah, Bradley Walsh has already signed to do another show on ITV. Tasman Cole is signed to do another show on AMC. And like I said, I think the reason why, like I said, this is my opinion, that they filmed Revolution of the Daleks when they did was so they could get everybody out of their contracts at that time instead of dragging them back for another contract the following year to have them just come in and film a special. Because we were all sitting there wondering, how the hell is Taz and Cole at Chicago TARDIS this year? And, bam. Yeah, Moffat and Gatiss, like I said, they've been getting a lot of shit because of Dracula, but at the same time, it ain't been doing too bad as far as I know. Yeah, so for you folks who have been bombarding me with it, yeah, Revolution of the Daleks filmed last year. They put it in the can around the time they were finishing up Series 12. So it's already filmed. It's already done. It just has to be thrown out there. Also, like I said, originally Series 13 filming was going to begin in September. We've received no word as yet. They have canceled or pushed back filming for Series 13. And like I said, it's kind of weird because, like I said, EastEnders is already filming. Keeping Faith is going back for the cameras by the end of this month. So we must have Thasmin. I don't know if that would be interesting to see. Okay. No, it's not confirmed Mandip is staying. And no, Jodie is not pregnant. Jesus H. Jones, I remember when that one was running around that she had to bow out because she was pregnant. There's also, that's the other rumor I've heard, they're going to end it on the 60th. But like I said, nothing solid on that. So once again, before I wrap this up, because I do got to get going, I have to be in bed literally within the hour because I have to be up at 5 a.m. Sorry, 4 a.m. because I have to be there by 6. Freaking 9-hour days are killing my ass. Okay, so just to wrap it up. Just because you've had your video blocked does not mean there's an evil mad conspiracy by the BBC to shut you down because you're somehow telling the truth. It doesn't mean jack shit. It just means you had something in there they didn't want anybody seeing, like a clip or, because they'll nail you for the slightest clip, be it musical or video or anything these days. Hell, they nailed me for pictures. First time in going on how many years I've been doing YouTube, I got nailed for pictures. Still pictures. It didn't even have anything plot killing in them. And that happened back, before Series 11 aired. So, yeah, it's called the BBC, especially now when it comes to their copyright bots are dicks. And they always have been dicks, but now they're dicks to a whole new level. They will literally shut down an entire video, or better yet, sometimes they'll go, well, if you give us your money, we'll let your video stay up. So, well. There was a rumor for a while. It was back, I think it was, can't remember, it was last year. Was it? Yeah, I think it was last year. Someone was saying Jodie was pregnant. Like I said, nobody took it seriously. So, folks, I got to get going. Please take care of yourselves and each other. Please remember, COVID is still out there. So if you got to go out and wear a mask, please do so. Don't, you may think of it as inconvenience. I can't stand wearing them, to be honest, but at the same time, I have to keep thinking I'm, giving somebody else a little bit more security, if not myself, okay? So take care of, I remember, Percy the cat. That one was running around for a while. So take care of yourselves. Have a great night. I'll see you on the flip side. Thank you for all coming. Good night.